Good morning, everyone. This is a surprise live stream as I'm home with my daughter. She's getting over chickenpox, so I have a bit more time to analyze charts and focus on live streams as this is something that's less time consuming than me writing posts on Twitter. So today we're going to be discussing crypto cycles, Bitcoin cycles, altcoin cycles, what my interpretation is, and it's differentiates from what crypto Twitter or the broader analysts think. So this is an idea um, to get your brains a bit scrambled. So let's hop into it. The broader thesis on the crypto I see is that the cycles are like so. First cycle was this one with the top in 2023. Then 2020, 2017, and then another one in 2021, of course. So basically, these cycles, which are periodically um, equally apart. So we are expecting now the same to happen here. But this is such a rigid thinking that I'm quite sure that it's going to be wrong. My proposal is to think like so. Oh, let's bring another chart. I have another one, log chart here. I want to bring your attention on the price, that the price is on a log scale and the time is also on a log scale. So if we look at this chart, you can see that the first top was made rather in 2000 and what is that, 2011. Next one, blow off top, was 2013, 2017, and we should be working for our on this fourth cycle top somewhere around here. Whether it's in the next few months or in the next year, it doesn't matter. But from this perspective, you can see how equally apart these cycles are from one another. See? Roughly the same. And if we put another one here, it's going to be the same. What this means from a non-log perspective? Well, this means that this was the first top, this was the second pop, this was a third pop, and this here, roughly, I don't know, in the midpoint, is gonna be our next one. So this should end the fourth cycle in the Bitcoin's history, which means that the entire run for 2021 was nothing than COVID repricing. And since these cycles are getting longer logarithmically, we see cycles within the cycles. You can see just getting longer with time as we move. Um, so if we've topped last time we've topped was 2017, that means even from the Elliott wave perspective, like we've been talking about, this was nothing than a third wave from the fifth wave. And the base that we've been building is like a base from 2017. So each top had its blow-off top, and thus I'm expecting one here as well. So breakout of the channel to top. Disregard the prices, but I'm looking for tops north of 500,000, if my thesis is correct, of course. Why this also makes sense is from the altcoin perspective. And this is going to be probably a very short stream. If there are any, good morning, if there are any questions in the chat, um, I'll address them. So this assumption also works from the altcoin chart perspective, because we've seen a few runs that we've had in 2017, which was the biggest one, 2021, which was the second largest, and then we had one in 2023, which was smaller, and now we're getting smaller. So what is the common denominator? The common denominator is that runs are getting shorter each time. Thus, people are not expecting much from here. You know, pop and then just go down. This is what I see from crypto Twitter. People are wondering if a 3x return is still possible on altcoins, which no one believes it anymore. You can see how we've been suppressed here, and volatility is just waiting to be released. Speaking of volatility, if we take a look at Bollinger Bands, which are an indication of volatility, we see that we haven't had a proper expansion yet this cycle. An expansion means that um, the Bollinger Bands lower and upper are expanding. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't seen that even with this run. With this run, and we are getting very narrow here. We're gonna take a look at the 2 bi-weekly chart and bring up BBW, Bollinger Bands width. This is an indication, easier to see what I'm talking about in regards to Bollinger Bands, how wide they are apart from each other. So if we assume that volatility is getting smaller and smaller, you can also see that it's very suppressed. It's a clear trend line each time with each run. I think it's historically low on the 1-month chart, if I'm not mistaken. So this also means that this is one big cycle. Volatility hasn't even been released. And when this pops, so volatility can be released on the upside or to the downside. Since volatility has been suppressed for 8 years, a historical move is brewing, either be it on the to the upside or to the downside. So if you're a bear, this is what you're looking at, basically down only. Uh, Either down only or up only for a prolonged period of time. Nothing in between. Volatility cannot be suppressed, cannot be suppressed more than it already is. And it can be seen on a multiple time frames. So this is my interpretation of cycles, meaning we are in the fourth cycle, that lots of gains on altcoins are still to be made, and that you should be very optimistic for the months ahead. Perhaps few weeks are still still choppy. Perhaps we do see that spike down that we've been discussing, but from there we should start turning up and proceeding with basically the base of the alt season that's going to happen in 2026. If I touch on that a bit, we've been watching for this to happen, which if the spike down comes, it should be another higher low before we start grinding higher. And the low should come by the end of next week ish. So this is from the assumption that we have three drives down. Each one was with a narrative. Hopefully we get one as well. But it's looking fine. You're gonna see, or you have seen, a lot of misanalyzed data on crypto Twitter, because during this entire run to the upside, there have been a lot of divergences made. And as we're climbing, longer we're climbing in this channel, uh, the higher time, the higher divergences are going to be made. You know, now I think they're pointing to the 1 month MACD cross, bearish cross. So each time when they look uh, at the price action, we had like a big drawdown here, big drawdown here when this crossed. But price action is different than what we've had leading to those stops where those crosses happened. So even the we have bearish divergences is totally normal, because if you compare this one, for example, that happened in 2017, we had a lot of divergences as well as we went, uh, as we progressed in this channel. You can see that the divergences start happening here. This was a divergence as well. This was a divergence. So each top, first stop, when the first stop is overextended, the next one, the higher one, is always going to be shown as a bear divergence until you get to euphoria, which is super overheated, and this divergence disappears. Divergences in itself mean nothing if you can't read price action. I think the most important thing to get from 2022 bottom to now is just grinding up, and it's been lagging. We haven't seen any violent moves. It's just due to the liquidity offset, or the liquidity cycles lagging for about 10 to 11 months already, I think. We've already discussed this with IWM. Um, we also have Bollinger Bands. I think the tightest bands on 1 week time frame, if I'm not mistaken. This is very tight. So this is a turning point. If you think that we're going to break down, volatility is going to expand and break down, then you should sell. Otherwise, keep holding. Because I think in a few weeks, prices are going to be higher than where we are from here, based on my theory. You think we are skipping the bear market and starting a new bull into 2029? If I look at the altcoin structures that we've already mentioned, this is the path I'm seeing. We should get a top for altcoins in 2026. I'm not expecting alt season to happen this year, but probably acceleration by year end. So I'm expecting top to come here in 2026, somewhere around midpoint is current estimation. We have another correction in the lengths like we've so far made. How long was this one? Almost a year. So a year of a correction or higher, then another spike in 2028, which would end the entire cycle that we've started on alts in 2023. This will be my base case. Do you know what the reason for the lagging liquidity cycle is and what could change looking forward? I don't know what the reason is. I'm really not a macro guy. I'm just looking at charts. So what the reason would be, I don't know. So liquidity cycles run around 4 years. So a bit shorter or a bit longer is nothing unusual. But this cycle has thrown everyone off, which is good. We can uh, we can't keep, you know, everyone can't keep winning all the time. because Fourier cycles, in my opinion, is a very wrong way of thinking. So if there aren't any questions, I'm gonna be shutting this stream. Your Pengu thesis still hold even with current weakness. If I touch on Pengu for a bit, there's still a potential that we do see a spike in the local demand in this area. If the thing that we've mentioned plays out, this spike lower, and then a reversal to the upside. This is something to look at, which will probably have an answer by next week's end. This is the main thing that I'm going to be watching. So, no, thanks for joining, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and don't give up. This is the worst time to give up.